Good morning. Good morning, y'all. Excuse me, adjusting myself. So I got on this, I don't know what you call it. This type of, whatever. It's like some type of sweater that you pull over, but there's no sleeves or nothing. You just pull over and it hangs down the front and it hangs down the back. Anyways, I look crazy. I look like a little head with a big old body, but it's just all this material that I have on underneath. Anyways, y'all, but I got this pea coat. It's like a it's like a trench coat, like the size of a trench coat. It's a pea coat. And it's got 2 buttons down here, so that's why it's always sitting popped open. And y'all, I'm sorry if it looks lengthy, because I need me a lint roller, because y'all know how pea coats work. But anyways, this little loose turtleneck type of thing. Anyway, so how y'all doing this morning? So I was thinking about the relationship aspect, and just thinking about things that I personally pay attention to when it comes to men, or if I find myself interested in someone and we have access to each other's social medias. I'm very I'm aware, and I try to pay attention to things that I know will ultimately be a problem at some point or another. Because I feel like there's certain things about people, if you could see a certain thing that that certain thing right there would be a huge problem and would lead to bigger issues. And just being mindful of the things that a lot of women that I think overlook, for whatever reason, but it ends up coming back to bite them. For example, if I'm remotely interested in somebody, or have a curiosity, and I was like, let me see what's up with this, because it's not often that I come across someone that I'm attracted to, even though I see a lot of attractive guys. But I think some of you understand what I mean by that. It's not often that I come across someone that I'm like, ooh, that I'm attracted to when I look at them, even though they're nice looking themselves. It's just, it just is what it is. It's not something I can pick and choose. It's I'm either attracted or I'm not. And you could be nice looking and I just not be attracted to you, But when it comes to me trying to, or seeing someone, I'm like, oh, okay, let me see. Let me see what you are about, right? So one of the things that I'm mindful of, especially when it comes to Instagram, because it's easier to do, if I'm looking for a dude, or kind of checking for a dude, and I'm like, okay, let me see what he's about. I'm not gonna listen to who you tell me you are. Sure, I mean, you could tell me, you could talk to me, whatever. Tell me who you say you are, but I'm gonna look behind the scenes to see who you really are, and to see if it adds up to me, and based upon my discernment and things that I've learned as a 36-year-old woman throughout my experiences in life. And one of the first things that I check, again, it's easier when it comes to Instagram, is who he follows. I want to see what type of people you follow. And 9 times out of 10, it's always more women than anything. And it is usually a bunch of half-naked women, or women who are Instagram model and looking for attention, which some, it's one thing if it's actual women that a man might know, but when it's just a bunch of random women, with the blue check, and they just want these Instagram models who show off their body for whatever, fame, attention, whatever, thirst trapping for attention, right? That's one thing I check for. So when I see that, what does that simultaneously tell me? I'm like, okay, he a little loose. Yeah, he probably not a little, he probably a lot. Because why is he following these women? He don't even know these women, but he's following these women. So it shows me a little bit about his character. Personally, to me, I perceive that as he's not trying to arrest his flesh. He's giving it to his flesh. He's looking to lust after these women and, do only God knows what, because there's a lot of men out here still masturbating. So I'm like, okay, so why he following these women? So he could get to fulfill the lust of his eyes, so he can masturbate to them? Why is he following these women? These women be thirst trapping for attention. He's out here trying to give it to them. I feel like that tells me a lot about him or who he is. And I'm like, okay, he's not. Okay, he says he's a man of y'all, but it don't look like he's trying to rest his flesh at all. Now, if he's following this, we know one of men's biggest struggles is to keep from, is to arrest his flesh, right? To not be fleshy, to not give into temptation and fornication, or stepping out of his significant other, right? So when I see that you are a man, especially when you claim to be a wholesome man, and then you're following all these different types of women and they're just dressed like whatever, it tells me that you're not really for real. Your mouth says one thing, but your action says another. And I'm not here to change nobody. I'm not, and I think it's crazy that women will get into relationships and situationships, whatever, with guys, and then just like, you see he a playboy, you see he'll never give you what you want, but for some reason you think that your love will change him and make him be what you want. Look, no, take people for face value. If he a dog, he gonna stay a dog. You shouldn't get with a man hoping that he gonna change for you. Doesn't mean he won't, but he not gonna change. If he does change, it's not gonna be because he allowed you to change. If anything, if he even hints at that, the fact that you're trying to change him, it's gonna turn him off, and he's gonna go the other way. He don't, men don't like that, to feel like you're trying to control them, manipulate them to your satisfaction. But a man will only change by inspiration of you and see how you carry yourself. But it's also gonna be with healthy morals, values, and boundaries, and saying, nah, I'm not okay with that. Being willing to put your foot down on things that are dishonorable and saying, nah, I'm not cool with that, and being quick to walk away. But nonetheless, you think about how hard it is to change ourselves, right? So why would you be trying to change somebody else? It's hard to change certain things about ourselves. Like, I'm a work in progress, and I'm always trying to change certain things about myself that I don't like. But I'm never going to be out here trying to, change a man. And I'm definitely not going to get with a man with the idea of changing him. That's not my job. I got things to worry about. I got life to pursue. I got my business to grow. Like, I don't got time to be trying to change somebody. Like, a man is not a science fair project for you to figure out. You don't play Barbara the Builder trying to build him up to be the man you want him to be. He either is or he isn't. And no man is going to be perfect. However, don't get in a relationship with a man that got a lot of big red flags that are something that aren't okay. And for me, seeing that if a man is following a bunch of half-naked women, and I'm like, okay, he's really online lusting. He's lusting heavy and hard, and he's not trying to rest his flesh. So but wisdom would say, don't even get involved with this dude. Look the other way, because this is still gonna be there when you get involved with him. Then what you gonna do? It's like, have a conversation with yourself. What you gonna do? Am I gonna argue with this man about all these women he followed when I knew this beforehand? Am I gonna argue with this man about, okay, why is you following her? Why is you liking this chick's picture? Or I saw that you like this picture with her butt out. Like, I'm not doing that. I'm not babysitting nobody. I don't want to feel like I gotta do any of that. Like, that's just something that I can't entertain. So it's just being mindful of stuff like that. Again, that's something that I pay attention to. A lot of women don't, but you wonder why your man is lusty and he's cheating, or you find out he's entertaining a certain somebody. He's like, what? We just friends, blah. Like, sir, like, stop it. You know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. A lot of men will try to make their women feel like they're crazy because they got a connection with a certain woman. It's like, I see how your eyes light up when you talk to her or you look at her. Like, if you happen to be around for it. And men be blatantly lusting in front of your face, and then will make it seem like you're insecure if you dare say something about it. But these are manipulative men, and aren't the type of men that you shouldn't be giving your time to. But it really takes assessing his character and really vetting him appropriately. A lot of women get caught up on this whole hypergamy thing, and y'all are worried about, oh, can he provide for me? Can he do this? Can he do that? Like, a lot of women are chasing like rich men. But do you understand, with rich men come a lot of drama? Rich men, guess what? There's a bunch of sugar babies just like you, these little model chicks or whoever, trying to get with him too, just for the simple fact that he rich. So if you really trying to be on this hypergamy stuff, you got to accept all the drama is willing to come with it. And I'm telling you, you're not going to be ready for it. You going to have things all the while he out here sleeping around and slutting around. But you got the money, right? You got all these materialistic things, but look at the character. You didn't get the character though. So don't focus so much on, it's important that you don't just focus on the money aspect. Yes, you want a man who's a protector and a provider, and a man who wants to provide, who has a provider mindset. But just wanting him just because he has money, like, that's crazy. Honestly, you just want an honest man, even if it means less money, because at the end of the day, a man can wine you and dine you and buy you all up and be out here sleeping around and doing the same thing for other women, because money isn't a thing to him. If he has it, it's not a thing for him. He don't mind spending on women if it gets him what he ultimately wants from them, which is their time and their bodies, So be mindful of that, and only involve yourself with men that after you've vetted them appropriately. Is he a protector and a provider? Doesn't mean he has to have a lot of money. That's not what I'm saying. But does he have that mindset to want to protect and to provide for you and a family in the event that you have one? Does he have good character and conduct? Like, I could see, like, myself, I haven't granted, I did double date like a couple months ago. Didn't go nowhere, but I haven't really dated in a good while. But I remember when I did date, the one things that I'm checking for too, okay, let's say I'm with a date and we're out, we're sitting down, and let's say a really attractive woman walks into a room, right? And I can acknowledge another attractive woman when I see her. I'm not going to say anything, you know. I'm not going to point it out. But one thing I'm going to check for, I'm going to check. I'm going to pay attention to him. Where does he keep looking? Does he keep looking over there? Does he keep looking at her? Making me feel uncomfortable? Does he keep looking? Because it's one thing to see somebody. We see attractive people all day. But it's another thing when you're staring and you keep checking for them. And then just completely ignoring the person that you're with, right? So that's something that I pay attention to. Something that, and it's not about insecurity, because you got somebody, oh, you insecure. That's not insecure, not wanting the person I'm on a date with to be staring at another woman from across the room. That's not insecure. That's just basic human decency and respect. Treat me with some respect. And if you're doing that, I'm not going to sit and argue with you about it. I'm going to take mental note. I may call it out. Like, yeah, oh, I see you keep looking over there. She's really cute, but do you really got to keep sitting and staring? Like, I could see me saying something like that and just laughing about it, like not making a big deal about it, but all the while knowing that, yeah, this ain't gonna go nowhere, and I'm not gonna waste my time, because I'm not gonna be in this relationship with a loose man who's anywhere and everywhere looking at anything and everything and doing all this extra stuff just for him to try and flip it. Like, oh, you insecure, you just jealous, nah, bro, you just loose. That's what you are. But I'm not gonna get involved in it, because I know what comes with that, and I've been with a man like that. The last man I laid down with years ago, you know, it's been 9.5 years since I've been saving myself for marriage, and you know, and been walking in alignment with Yahuwah. But he was a manipulator. Like, I learned what a narcissist was through him, and he was definitely a narcissist. Like, he loved to try to get me jealous. Literally, he would do things on purpose to try to get me jealous. He would, you know, just crazy stuff. He would do stuff for attention. It's like it stroked his ego. But I was like, dang, like, you just a toxic little boy who is okay with seeing me upset or you know, or offended by something, and that just to stroke your own ego. And it's like, wow, dude, you really fool yourself. But you learn from the best of them, I'm telling you. But you know, it's just something that, you know, ladies, just be mindful of the man that you're dealing with, or that you call yourself maybe getting in a situation where, like, really assess him, assess his character, his morals, his values, and growth. And I'm speaking in context, not as, you know, as a wholesome woman looking for a wholesome man who's submitted to Yahuwah. Now, if he a worldly man and he listen to all this worldly stuff, acting like one of these worldly dudes, you know, like a street dude or whatever, you cannot expect anything wholesome. To go into that situation and think that you're going to get something praiseworthy out of him, and that you're going to get commitment, faithfulness, a man who's trying to arrest his flesh and not be disrespectful when he sees another attractive woman, like not be disrespectful by trying, like staring at her in your presence and stuff like that. Like, I don't think you should. I think it's safe to say that you shouldn't really expect that from that type of man. Like, he doesn't even know who he is yet, and he hasn't elevated to his best of self yet, and he maybe never will. I mean, some people don't have that desire. They don't say nothing wrong with being worldly and lusty and oh, I'm a man. You know, a lot of men use, oh, I'm a man. I mean, what you expect? I'm a man. I don't care if you're a man or not. Your sex, your gender does not give you a free pass or an excuse to do anything that's dishonorable to, you know, let alone to yourself. Why would you want to be dishonorable to yourself or your character and your conduct as a person? But definitely not anything dishonorable if we in a relationship or we're trying to build one. Like, nah, I'm not okay with you being loose. I'm not okay with you staring at other women in my face. I'm not okay with you being lusting for these women online and following these other women. And you say you a man of Yah, but you out here looking at this. Men of Yah, yes, they're fleshy, but men of Yah want wholesome women. They want women who cover themselves up. Men of Yah, a true man of Yah, he's not going to be perfect, because none of us are. None of us, right? None of us on this earth is perfect. However, he's going to be striving for wholesomeness, for perfection, and for pristine character. And he's going to strive to one of the things that a man inherently knows and understands, that when you're trying to pursue things of Yahuwah and you're trying to be wholesome, you're trying to be the man that he has called you to be, he's going to want to steer clear of his lust and his, you know, his flesh, and trying to be with a bunch of women, be in a bunch of women's face, or sleep with a bunch of women, or, you know, he's going to intentionally try to keep his eyes from all these things. Like, seriously, like a real man of Yah who's looking to be reformed and really grow is going to try to let go of his desire for women. Like, he's going to try to crush that lust spirit within him. That's what some women don't get. Again, I'm talking about men of Yah. Men of Yah are going to try to do wholesome things, but you got a lot of men who say they're men of Yah. They either are or they're not, and their character and their conduct will show you who they are. So, ladies, I just wanted to give a couple pointers and just tell you that from my perspective, like, I pay attention, and I think it's things that, you know, that I stated that you should pay attention to as well, because it tells you a bigger picture of something you're not going to be ready for. You know, if a man hasn't dealt with his own flesh and his own lust and his idea of trying to be with and sleep with a bunch of women, If he hasn't dealt with that within himself, do you think you could deal with that with him and think that you're going to change something? Like, if he hasn't dealt with it within himself, there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you could do. And again, never get in a relationship to try and change a man. Take people for who they are. Take them for face value. And when you see that this man is lusty and he always, look, wisdom says, don't do it. I'm telling you, don't do it. It's going to come back and bite you. And I, you know, through personal experience and through just watching this world, look, a lot of women, you know, you'll overlook so many red flags just waving you in your face and you'll completely ignore it and then wonder why things get shattered some months down the road. And it's like you saw everything you needed to see, but you ignored it because you wanted it to work so bad and you wanted to see the good. That's not to say go on and look for the bad within a man, but do not ignore the red flags when you see them, because these type of red flags are very, very serious. And they paint a very broad, a very vivid picture of what's really there. Again, like what I gave when it comes to a man, you know, following a bunch of half-naked women online. Like, it really shows me what's really going on behind the scenes. Because otherwise, you wouldn't be following these women if you weren't trying to fulfill your eyes with lust and the desires of your flesh or whatever unwholesome thing, right? And then if I was in a relationship with this type of man, he would be comparing me all the time. Like, then it'll make me inherently, of course, by default, feel insecure because I see him like lusting after these women and liking these pictures and doing this and that. And one thing, I'm not as an insecure woman. I'm not going to be with a man who doesn't understand the importance of helping to make sure that I'm secure within the relationship, because that is a role for both men and women alike. And you know, and yes, you have to come to a relationship secure within yourself, confident and secure. However, it is your significant other's duty to also make sure you're insecure within the relationship. Like, don't be entertaining other women. Don't be letting these friends of the opposite sex have so much access to, you know, certain like common sense things that isn't going to make a woman be like, hey, hold up, what's going on here? Like the same decency that a man will want, right? It's not about insecurity. It's about standards. And having a standard for yourself and saying, look, I'm not okay with this. And this ain't something I'm going to settle for, because I'm not an insecure woman. And I'm not going to settle for a man who's going to make me insecure by default because of the things that he is refusing to walk away from. You know, things that he entertained while he was single, but acts like he doesn't understand that when it comes to a relationship and getting a serious relationship with a woman, that he has to compromise. And there's certain things that are just a no-go. Like, that ain't flying over here. Like, that's common sense. We get in a relationship, but a lot of people aren't relationship material, but they're out here pursuing relationships and they're wondering why the relationships are the way they are in the state of the world today. So, but that was just a word of encouragement, something to think about. And yeah, fellas, gotta do better. Got to do better. Don't a wholesome woman want a lusty man. And I'm telling you, because a lot of men want a wholesome woman. I've had men tell me, oh, I need a woman of God like you. I need but bruh, I don't need you. That's the thing. You supposed to be leading me. Yeah, I'd be a benefit to you, but what benefit would you be to me? If I was involved myself with you, that would be reverting back to the worldly men that I came from. And I grew too far for that to go backwards. And that's not even attractive to me anyway. So, but yeah, just giving my 2 cents. Word of encouragement. Thank you for listening, y'all. Take care.